Hey eczema warriors, and welcome back to my new video, which is the honest truth about steroid medication for dyshidrotic eczema. And I'm on this journey with you, and I've been prescribed steroid creams just like I'm sure you have, and you realize once you start using the creams, it doesn't cure it. And we're going to get right into all the details on steroids. And of course, I've got my notes with me, so I'm looking down. That's why. So let's get into it. Now, we know all about dyshidrotic eczema symptoms. The scratching, the swelling, the crusting, the inflammation. And when we deal with that, we go and find help. We go to a doctor or a dermatologist, and what do they say? Oh, you're going to try this steroid cream and hope that it gets better. And you go on Google and research, and the same thing, it's steroid creams and more steroid creams. But how do they actually work on our skin? So let's take a minute to understand this. So number one, they suppress inflammation. So as I know all too well, dyshidrotic eczema is an inflammatory skin condition. And even though inflammation is the body's natural response to threats like allergens in skincare and makeup, there is an overreaction with the immune system. And then the body mistakenly attacks the healthy cells, causing the inflammation. Now, topical steroids come into play. They help suppress the exaggerated immune response by inhibiting immune cells such as T cells and mast cells. This prevents further damage to the skin and reduces the immune system's hypersensitivity, and which is why when I've used steroids, instantly within a few hours to a few days, I'm looking at my skin and it's getting better. The second thing they help with is reduce itching and discomfort. And I think that by far the worst thing with eczema, dyshidrotic eczema, is just the uncontrollable itch that you go through, that itch scratch cycle, the burning sensation, the pieces of skin, the patchiness, the crustiness, but it just is uncontrollable itch that you just have to scratch at times. So steroids really work well to relieve that itching by reducing inflammation and irritation, since we know that constant itching and scratching can worsen dyshidrotic eczema, and steroids help by calming that inflammatory response, so you're not really doing it, and it gives your skin a chance to heal. Number three, they help with preventing skin thickening and scarring. Now, the repeated inflammation of the skin with dyshidrotic eczema can lead to thickening or lengthenification, as I butchered the name. But I still suffered with this, and I suffered it very badly last year when my skin just appeared to be raised, and it felt like something else was on my skin. My skin sort of felt heavy on my hands. When it was the absolute worst, it was really bad. It was leathery, it was thick, and completely unrecognizable with grey and purple tones. And I was in disbelief that my skin could actually become that. And so it really looked like a bark from a tree. But again, steroids help by preventing this, by controlling the inflammation early and reducing the need for the scratching. So it gives the skin a chance to heal and recover from its natural texture, preventing scarring and skin thickening. And you know what? I still have a bit of that skin thickening on the fingertips of my hand, and it's discolored. And I believe it was because of the constant damage I was doing to my skin, because it was just uncontrollably itchy, which is why my fingertips appear a bit raised. So I don't know if that's ever going to go back to normal. The fourth thing is promoting skin barrier healing. So as you know, the skin is completely damaged from the scratching and itching from dyshidrotic eczema. And the skin is sore, it's peeling, it's bloody. And steroids not only reduce inflammation, but also allow it to repair itself, the skin to repair the damaged barrier. And, eczema weakens that barrier, so there's more dryness and irritation. But steroids work by reducing the inflammation. The steroids help to restore that skin's ability to retain moisture and fend off, environmental irritants and allergens. So we've touched upon like steroids, creams, but what about oral steroids? Now, oral steroids are prescribed to manage very severe cases of eczema, like atopic dermatitis, that hasn't responded to, topical treatments. So they work by decreasing the immune system's overreaction, which results in reducing inflammation, which can quickly control the eczema flare-ups. There are different types of steroids commonly prescribed for dyshidrotic eczema. So you have topical steroids and you have the oral steroids. Now, obviously, topical steroids are applied topically to the skin and come in different strengths from mild to very potent. An example of a very low potent cream would be hydrocortisone that you can buy over the counter, and a high one on the other end would be something like Temovate. Oral steroids, such as prednisone, and I'm definitely not getting these names right, are taken orally and can be prescribed in more severe cases. But again, you have to use these tablets very cautiously because they have more systemic side effects. And then you also have steroids that include antimicrobial effects. So if a doctor expects that your eczema is infected in some way, they will prescribe this type of cream, such as Fucibet, I believe, or Fucidin. And the National Eczema Society has a really good fact sheet on steroids, and it's worth reading that, which I'll link below. And you will see the different types of different types of steroid creams for eczema, different strengths, the potencies. And again, I do recognize a few names that I've used in the past, but no longer choose to. So it's definitely worth a look and downloading that resource. Let's get into the benefits. We know that steroids reduce redness, itchiness, swelling by suppressing the immune response in the skin, which allows the skin to have a break and to breathe and to heal. And these benefits are immediate, along with improved skin appearance and comfort. But then on the flip side, we have the very real risks that comes with steroid use. And the list on the screen is not exhaustive. We have, excessive hair growth, acne, skin discoloration. Your skin might get even worse than it was before. And even with oral steroids, those risks are even greater, some being cataracts, muscle weakness, fluid retention, peptic ulcers, and it goes on. What are we doing to our bodies over time? Like, what dependencies are we having as a result of constantly using steroids over a long period of time? Topical ones in particular, the skin can become really dependent on the steroids. Sometimes you just kind of keep using the cream because you get addicted to it. Oh, it comes up again, you use it again, even though these are prescribed for short term, especially the very potent ones. They're not meant to be used continuously. And so what can result is the skin becoming worse than the original condition, darkening, burning, scaly skin, where they've never had eczema before. It could just blow up all over your body, and it's very severe. It can even put people that are they can make people bedbound. It's so bad. Doctors tend to call it rebound eczema, and we have to remind ourselves that these treatments, these topical treatments or oral treatments, they are not a cure. They just suppress, and it's not meant to be used long term at all. But looking at the TSW, as it's known, topical steroid withdrawal, there are people who have made a miraculous recovery over years, and they've got their skin back. But these are the real risks that can happen to us when we use, steroids for a long time. So, okay, we understand the risks. So what else is out there? How are we going to get our skin better to its former glory that I know it desperately wants to get back to? Well, there are so many natural remedies and treatments for managing dyshidrotic eczema. Now, if you haven't checked out my soothing overnight remedies, I beg you, please check it out. And a video on how I cured my severe dyshidrotic eczema flare-up last year. I mean, it was truly monstrous, nothing I've ever seen before. And I did this through lifestyle changes, managing your diet, eating well, drinking well, having added vitamins and supplements if necessary, staying away from anything that was processed, sugar, cutting that out. And of course, we don't always have to use steroids. We have nice moisturizing creams. This one's called Epiderm that I use religiously for my dry patches here. That really help just to soothe and soften and moisturize the skin. There's others like Satraben. I also use Vaseline to help me get through the day. And, steroid creams aren't our only hope at all. So if you are using steroid creams, how do we use it safely? It's not just about rubbing it all in. In fact, you're only meant to use a fingertip. And there's a great resource on the National Eczema Society website that illustrates exactly how to use the creams and how many fingertips are needed per body part. And for me personally, last year when my hand was, inflamed in all sorts of ways, I was prescribed a steroid, and it was, quite a potent one. But I thought to myself, I don't want to use this. It's not going to give me that long-term result, but might get short-term benefits. But you know what? It's not what I wanted to do. And you might be at a crossroads where you're thinking, I don't know if I can keep using this cream, and I want to explore other options. And I'm here to tell you there are so many other options. But just always understand the risks that you're putting through your body when using these steroid creams. Right, guys, that concludes our video, and let's recap on what we've learned today. So while dyshidrotic eczema offers quick relief, long-term use is not advised, since it can lead to really serious side effects that we don't want. Steroid addiction and withdrawal are challenging to overcome and very real, and as a consequence of using steroids for a prolonged period of time. There are also great effective treatments worth exploring, like lifestyle treatments, moisturizing creams, emollients that will help to get our skin back on track. And if you do use steroid creams, make sure you do under close medical supervision. And remember, guys, this is a journey. It's going to take time. Give yourself grace for your skin to heal. It wants to heal. I know mine does. And it might take a while to find that your skin is improving, but I'm sure it will. If this has been helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, keep the convo going by adding comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.